Okay, so let's go work on these eyelashes. Work a little bit slower. Okay, and yeah, this is really your, if we go back to that skull, it's where your skull goes from the front to the under plane. And let's get rid of the whites over here. There's no whites there, it's all that brow. His brow is totally cast in a shadow. And now let's flick the lash like we've talked about in the features part. Here's my convex line that's gonna roll into my lower eyelid, and I can't go black with that. Again, let's reiterate, I'm not gonna match the values. That's that little upper eyelid ledge. Here's my lower eyelid ledge. There's a skinny, skinny, skinny little white of the eye. Okay, so now let's just kind of chisel this. Chisel meaning to make it a little bit crisper and sharper. Get in his iris, there's no highlight. And the pupil that I just put in what I meant to say. I've been confusing pupil and iris all day today. Sounds like two relatives that live down in Florida, pupil and iris. Chisel that. I'm going to use my kneaded eraser, and I don't like that little line on the white of my eye. Yeah. Okay, so let's introduce a couple blacks. I'm gonna move on. I gotta move on. If I work on this eye anymore, it's gonna start to, the portrait is gonna look unbalanced. So now, teachers would say, some teachers, that, see the line that I'm doing here right now? That's kind of like a no-no. That flattens everything out. I'm doing it. I really am a big believer. I said on the figure drawing DVD that I like to put soft tone down and then line on top of that tone. And when you just work with like line on the edge, it's like an instant way to flatten your drawings out. But I kind of got to find like a happy medium here. And I'm not against the line. I mean, I've had some teachers, and I agree with what they say. It's just your style evolves over time, and your taste evolves, and you like to try different things. So I'm really a firm believer of putting soft tone down the way that I was trained to paint, and then I like to put the line down the way that I've been teaching my animation class, my drawing class for animators. I try to push the line for them a little bit more, and so I've taught myself line, and now I like it, and I think it's really cool. And a book that you guys might want to get on an artist who is one of my favorite artists from the late 1800s is Alphonse Maria Mucha, and his line is really the line that you want to study. Okay, his line is the best, and he could do it all. He does traditional tonal paintings, and he does beautiful line work as well. Okay, so I'm just working inside this eye socket shape with all of these like little nuances, and sometimes what you have to do is you got to just do it and then put the tone on top of it. Okay, and that by putting the layer in the tone on top of all these like little nuances, that kind of pulls it all together for you, and it makes it a coherent eye socket shadow shape. Okay, so at home right now, the camera, I don't want the camera on the photograph, I want the camera on what I'm drawing. But if the camera were to look at the photograph for a second, it's all dark. Everything that I'm drawing right now is cast in shadow from the brow. The brow is actually physically cast in a shadow on all this information. So now I'm going to do that. I'm going to get rid of all this information, soften it, and unfortunately I got to do this in layers for you at home. I can't do it in like one. I'm not that good, and it's not my style to do it all in like one. That would be a line drawing. So remember, I'm into atmosphere. How do you create atmosphere? You create atmosphere by utilizing hard and soft edges in strategic locations. So this is definitely going to be a soft edge in the shadow. Okay, so now this. Okay, so I'm going to work on this a little bit more. I don't want to get stuck. And let's just push this now. This is going to be under plane, side plane of his eyeball. And this is a beautiful cast shadow that his lashes are physically casting. This is going to wrap around. Side plane over here, cast shadow as well. Let's get rid of some of the white of the eye. Let's get rid of this white of the eye. And this actually needs to be taller. And now let's just leave that eye for now. We'll come back to it. It's not perfect, but that's cool. I'm going to do a little side plane.